Right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Washed out. Tonight, people are stranded after the weekend storms.
And unfortunately, there's more rain in the forecast this week. When it starts and how much will fall.
And our top story, the rush to distribute foreign baby formula is happening right now. Military planes full of food to feed America's babies.
It's a desperate, helpless feeling to not know where you can find the only thing your child can survive on.
The one thing parents should not do while they wait out the crisis.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. A sign of hope for parents scrambling to find enough formula to feed their children. A military plane carrying enough formula for more than 500,000 baby bottles arrived this afternoon in Indianapolis. It's the first of several flights expected from Europe aimed at relieving the shortage that's gripped the nation in recent weeks. President Biden authorized the use of Air Force planes for the effort dubbed Operation Fly Formula. The shipments won't help everyone, not right away. Local families are still in need of specific types of formula, and some have even attempted to make their own. Our Pepper Baker joins us now with what a local pediatrician warns about the dangers from self-made formula. Pepper.
Mike, desperate times call for desperate measures. With the national formula shortage, families are trying to make do with what they can to feed their babies. But doctors say homemade formula can be a detriment to your child's health.
Why don't you try goat's milk or try homemade formula, or why don't you breastfeed? Like, I would go get the shots to start relactation in an instant.
Hannah Singleton considered all types of options to feed her 5-year-old daughter, Leila Singleton, during the formula shortage.
She just is unable to digest food, to the point of a couple of times she's even been in shock, like with like food trials and stuff as a baby.
Leila has 13 various diagnoses between allergies, gastrointestinal, and genetics, and she's only able to eat hypoallergenic amino acid-based formula.
We had like a tablespoon of carrots and spent 7 days in the hospital from it.
She spends about $100 a day for a can of Neocate formula. Mercy Kids Chesterfield pediatrician Jessica Smith says that the financial burden is still a safer option than at-home remedies.
We have been studying how to make formula for years and years, and finally we are good at it. But many babies died while people attempted to make their own formula.
Smith says homemade formula likely lacks the nutrients needed to keep babies healthy.
It doesn't take much to make a baby become very sick and have seizures, not get the calories they need, and end up in the hospital. So it is not safe to make your own formula at home. I would not even use your grandmother's recipe.
Many families will benefit from the 78,000 pounds of formula aid from Europe, but others will still be in need of specific types.
I'm so happy for all of them, but for Leila, that it's not going to help. So like the search is still on for us.
Dr. Smith also advised against watering down formula to make it last longer. She also urges people not to hoard formula as that impacts other families in need. She recommends talking to your pediatrician for samples and to reach out to friends and family to look for formula brands that could be available in their area.
Thank you, Pepper. The storms have passed our area for now, but a number of families in Franklin County say flash flooding this weekend left them stranded after washing out the only road in and out of their neighborhood. Now they tell our Holden Kerwicki they need your help to find a fix.
As thunderstorms passed over Nicole Trentman's rural Franklin County home Thursday evening, she stayed inside and watched it rain.
We couldn't see out very far at all, barely to the car.
She was unaware that the storms passing through the area had left everyone living along Jordan Road stranded.
The storm the other night washed out our culvert. It was like the Grand Canyon. There was no way to get through.
We thought it was just a massive puddle across the road. And then as we got closer, we were like, oh my gosh, it's washed out. Like, there's no road.
In an effort to keep the road open, neighbors did what they could to smooth out the creek. Less than 24 hours later, this entire roadway was once again washed away by the rain, leaving this entire area virtually impassable.
It's a private road, so county and state can't really do anything without us forking out a whole lot of money, so we're trying to get it fixed.
Early estimates to fix the road the right way could cost the families along Jordan Road upwards of $30,000.
So obviously none of us have that kind of money.
So Mandy Coram is soliciting donations via Venmo.
The minimum goal that I have is $3,000.
Though they have raised roughly $2,000 to date, Quorum admits it will be tough to hit their final goal without help.
I am a very much a person that believes in good karma, and then I believe in giving back. So for them to give to us, they've got my word that I'm going to give back whenever they need me to, and in whatever way that is.
In Leslie, Missouri, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
Quorum is working with their neighbors to set up a meeting with the Franklin County Commissioners to discuss reopening the road to the public. If you'd like to donate to help fund their repair, we have more information on KSTK.com and the 5 on your side news app. Take a look at the EF3 tornado that killed 2 people and injured 40 people in Michigan. Police say the power is slowly returning to residents in Gaylord. Friday's twister damaged homes and businesses. It practically destroyed a mobile home park. 1 person is still missing. Now to a developing story we've been following in St. Louis. Police hope to use surveillance video that captured a shooting in the Shaw neighborhood. This was Friday night. This man, Kyle Stone, is charged with murder. Police say he walked up to Christopher Brennan at Brennan's home on Flora Place and pulled out a gun. They say the pair struggled before Brennan was shot. A motive for the shooting and any relationship the men may have are still unknown.
The school district in Wentzville is pulling another book off its library shelves. The book is called Fun Home, a family tragic comic by cartoonist Alison Bechdel. The board cites the illustrations in the book about the author and her father's sexuality are too graphic. Just last month, the board banned The Bluest Eye from its shelves. That decision sparked a lawsuit.
I am very, very happy. I don't think we need to have that in our schools, and I don't think our kids need to learn that kind of stuff.
But once they get to high school, I think that the freedom to choose should be more important, because they're going out into the world and they're learning. They're learning from sources that we can't control anyway.
The Wentzville School Board also agreed with the review committee's recommendations to keep 3 other challenge books on the shelf.
Still ahead, a local businesswoman finds a way to give, even through the pandemic.
When COVID kicked in March of 20, Joni rounded up her crew members and said, let's get this thing going.
How she's raising millions for Ronald McDonald House charities and the people she's helping. Plus, a local school district finds a way to get parents more involved by making them teachers. And graduating from college and jumping into the real world, it's stressful enough. Now imagine doing it with the current state of the economy.
COVID was devastating for some local charities. The Ronald McDonald House, for instance, had to shut down for a while. But as you'll learn in tonight's Making a Difference report, here in the St. Louis area, they had an angel watching over them.
Just about everyone knows what's on the menu at McDonald's. But this restaurant has a secret ingredient.
2 happy fours?
Here in Wentzville, that secret ingredient is Joan Elhofer, who started working for McDonald's when she was just 16.
I knew somebody on the bus from school that worked at McDonald's, and he got me an interview. It was much different than it is today. And we didn't have drive-thrus at that time. They hadn't been invented yet.
Nice job, thank you.
Since then, Joan has worked her way up from cheeseburgers to big cheese. Including this store, she owns 7 McDonald's in the St. Louis area.
So you got that whole order now?
But she'll tell you there's no moving forward unless you're giving back.
When COVID kicked in March of 20, Joni rounded up her crew members and said, let's get this thing going.
Dan Harbaugh is Joan Elhofer's biggest fan. He's the president of Ronald McDonald House Charities in St. Louis. The Ronald McDonald House, like this one in Creve Coeur, is a place for families to call home so they can stay close to their hospitalized children at little to no cost.
They're coming in here a lot of times. They've never been to St. Louis. They're being thrown a million different things at them. And this takes one worry away from them.
25-year-old Leila Nalasko is here from the Dominican Republic. Her joints don't work anymore because of juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. She will soon have surgery for 6 joint replacements.
Hopefully after all this replacements are done, I'll be up and walking again.
The Ronald McDonald House had to close during the worst of COVID, but it was Joan who helped make sure they had the resources they needed when it was time to reopen. At her restaurants, she started Roundup for Ronald McDonald House. It allows customers, if they choose, to round up their order to the nearest dollar, with the change going to the charity.
Well, you have a wonderful day. Thanks a lot. Take care.
And now she trains McDonald's owners all over the country to do the same.
Hi, how you doing?
It's a passion that became personal when she learned how many people needed the Ronald McDonald House.
I had about 25 employees that could tell me a personal story of their siblings, their family, a friend, a neighbor, and I thought that was unbelievable.
In the last 21 months, just here in St. Louis, Joan and her customers have helped raise almost $3 million. And young people like Leila could not be more grateful.
I would think that she has to be a very, very special human being with a lot of love, compassion, and humanity.
With a little nudge from Joan Elhofer, instead of supersizing their fries, St. Louisans supersize their charitable donations.
We love them. We want them to have happy memories of being here.
One woman showing us all a different kind of Happy Meal.
Biggest heart in the world.
Really good job, guys. That's cool. Super cool.
In just the first quarter of this year, Roundup brought in almost $500,000. A reminder, if you know an inspiring person or someone making a difference, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com.
What will it take to get parents in classrooms? One idea is to make them teachers. A program in East St. Louis has a nonprofit called Community Development Sustainable Solutions, partnering with the school district for what's being called Parent to Parapro Pipeline. As of now, there are 21 parents in the program. They each get 100 hours of training. One stay-at-home mom we talked to says she wants to get back into the workforce.
I really actually just enjoy being hands-on and working one-on-one and in small groups with those students. We're able to fill in those gaps.
Teachers understand that parents being active in the education of their children does produce an increased educational outcome.
We have information on how to sign up on KSK.com under the As Seen on TV section. And take a look at this feel-good story. The honor flight took to the skies today at Smart Field in St. Charles. 7 World War II veterans had a chance to fly inside this vintage B-25 bomber.
This event is honoring 7 World War II veterans by taking them on a B-25 bomber that was in service when they were in service, giving them the chance to ride in a plane that they haven't seen or flown in for many, many, many years.
Every year, the honor flight takes local veterans to Washington, D.C. to see memorials built in their honor. Their most recent flight landed in St. Louis last Tuesday. This November will be their 100th mission.
Well, we are happy to be drying out in the St. Louis area. It has been very soggy, and we're going to get a chance to dry out, but Scott, not for that long.
Not
right?
for that long. And for those of you that were missing the sunshine today, because most of us didn't see a lot of it, at least we can prove that really there was a sunset that happened in St. Louis tonight. That's looking back at Forest Park as the sun was setting over Clayton. Not enough sunshine to get us very warm, though, today, even with no rainfall and all that cloud cover. We had 63 degrees for the high. 53 was our low this morning. Should be even cooler tomorrow. For the year, we're about 1.5 inches above average. But you look at the rainfall so far this month, it seems like it's rained a lot. And yeah, you're right. First week of May, pretty wet. Third week of May, pretty wet. So far, we're about 1 2/3 to 1 3/4 above average for the month. And May, of course, is one of our wetter months because of thunderstorms. 57 degrees right now. We are still cloudy. Our dew point, though, is 44. Winds are becoming light. The anticipation is the back edge of the clouds will be pressing south and east of St. Louis. That will allow areas off to our west to drop into the low and mid 40s in the cooler spots. Should be closer to 50 around St. Louis and in the upper 40s to around 50 farther south and east where the clouds are a little slower to leave. Some tropical moisture working into the system here that's stalled out down to the east and southeast of us. That keeps the clouds from completely clearing out of southeast Missouri and southern Illinois tomorrow. And then as we head into Tuesday, we turn our attention to these 2 little disturbances out west, one coming out of Idaho and Utah heading for Colorado and the other coming out of Mexico. The 2 are going to meet up here out to our west and bring us rain chances as we head into Tuesday, especially later in the day, Tuesday night and on into Wednesday. But dry again tomorrow. Should be a much brighter day. There'll be a few clouds around, but if you work outside tomorrow, a lot better than the last couple of days, that's for sure. Now, the rain chances, by Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, they really ramp up. And it's mostly Tuesday night into Wednesday when we see the greater area of more widespread showers and potentially a few thunderstorms slide across the area. This is not a severe weather setup, though, for us. So we expect any severe weather to stay well to our south. but we will look at the clouds decreasing by Tuesday, and that means we'll head towards Memorial Day weekend with damp ground, maybe another inch or more of rain in some cases, but drying out as we head towards Friday and into the upcoming weekend. Very low rain chances, but feeling like summertime in St. Louis for Memorial Day weekend. We're expecting to see temperatures back into the mid and upper 80s, might even touch 90 degrees, and very low rain chances. But before we get there, coming downtown tomorrow night for the Blues game, you won't need to worry about the umbrella. You'll need it, though, Tuesday night, Wednesday, and we'll be done with it, hopefully, as we head into the upcoming weekend.
That's what matters, right? Just got to get rid of it by the weekend. Thank you, Scott.
Well, there are claims on social media that the United States is about to give the World Health Organization more power, even control over U.S. policies. But is that true? We verify next. While the world is still dealing with COVID-19, the World Health Organization is meeting next week to discuss how to prepare for future pandemics.
Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team looks into claims the U.S. will give the WHO new powers during the meeting.
On May 22nd, the World Health Organization will meet in Geneva to discuss how to best respond to future pandemics. Among the ideas is a U.S. proposed amendment to improve ways of detecting, reporting, and responding to public health events worldwide. Some social media users are referring to this as a pandemic treaty and are using the hashtag #StopTheTreaty to voice their opposition to the amendment. On a podcast hosted by Steve Bannon, former Minnesota Representative Michelle Bachmann claimed the amendment could give the WHO control over the United States. Several Verify viewers emailed us to ask about these claims. So let's verify. Would the pandemic treaty give the WHO control over governments during a global health crisis? Our sources are the International Health Regulations, proposed amendments to the regulations, and the WHO. The International Health Regulations are part of an international law that outlines the responsibilities of WHO member countries, like the U.S., when there's a public health emergency. It requires that countries report what's happening and that the WHO offer assistance. Earlier this year, the U.S. proposed several amendments to the regulations based on what we learned during the COVID-19 pandemic. They include adding early warning criteria, a request to provide genetic sequence data, and outlines a time frame for when and how countries can ask the WHO for support. It does not give the WHO authority over member countries. The amendment repeatedly states that countries can reject the WHO's assistance. So, no, the pandemic treaty would not give the WHO control over governments during a global health crisis. It doesn't give the agency any new authority and only outlines how they can help at the request of a member country. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
If you have a story for us to verify, send us an email. Reach out to the Verify team by texting the word verify to 314-425-5355.
Major news today about America's largest Protestant denomination. A scathing investigation released a few hours ago shows leaders within the Southern Baptist Convention stonewalled and denigrated victims of clergy sex abuse for more than 2 decades. The report by Guidepost Solutions says people who went to the organization for help were met with resistance and outright hostility from within the top administrative committee. The convention has not commented on the report. President Biden is speaking out about a recent rash of monkeypox, including 2 cases in the U.S. He says it's something to be concerned about. The disease belongs to the same virus family as smallpox, but its symptoms are milder. People usually recover without needing to be hospitalized. Mr. Biden spoke to reporters while talking to reporters in South Korea.
But it is something that everybody should be concerned about. We're working on it hard to figure out what we do and what vaccine, if any, may be available for it. But it is a concern in the sense that if it were to spread, it's consequential.
President Biden visited troops in South Korea before taking off for Japan to continue his first trip to Asia as president.
The average price of gasoline is 33 cents more tonight than it was 2 weeks ago. It's now $4.71 per gallon nationally, about $4.16 in Missouri. Industry analysts say the price jump comes amid higher crude oil costs and tight gasoline supplies. It is graduation season, so many former students are now done with grades and they're starting to get concerned with inflation and the current economy. In April, inflation approached a 40-year high, and that has some feeling anxious, wondering if their salaries will cover the rising cost of goods. The good news is workers are in high demand, so graduates are getting job offers sooner than in the past.
We're seeing the industry, consulting, technology, healthcare, and supply chain really throwing in some large recruiting numbers, and then also putting in some large salary numbers to hire our students.
I actually have a job lined up after graduation as a campus pastor.
Tom Kim says taking advantage of resources on campus like networking events and embracing working remotely is vital.
From one weather extreme to another, spring's sudden departure to our west.
Expect to see more people at the St. Louis Zoo. Starting tomorrow, you won't need a reservation to go. The reservation system put in place to control crowd size during the pandemic ended today.
Well, highs will be in the 60s for much of this week, and it has many asking, where's spring? Well, at least we're not dealing with this. Look at this. Heavy, wet snow began falling in the Denver area on Thursday. Some areas got up to 5 inches, and that was after 90-degree temperatures earlier in that week. As of today, there are still thousands of power outages because of the weight of the snow. It's knocking down power lines, Scott.
Snow and 90 degrees, are they trying to be us?
Yeah, they did beat us. You know, at least we didn't go there, that route. You know, they were 87 in Denver on Thursday, and then woke up to snow by Saturday morning. Some of the places in the foothills, more than a foot of snow. It's pretty, and then it goes away, but a lot of those people just planted everything in the yard. 48 degrees in Warrenton, 56 at Scott Air Force Base. Listen, you're needing a jacket when you walk out the door tomorrow morning. It's chilly. Most of us will be down into the 40s. Back to 71, though. It will be a brighter day. Winds are fairly light. And then more rain's on the way later Tuesday into Wednesday, ending by Thursday.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10.
Now here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.